Hello, my sweet littles. I miss y'all so much. I hope y'all are doing well. I am so excited for today's video. Now, last week, actually, not yesterday. I don't know why I said that. Last week, we read a book called There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Frog, right? Now, this week, I figured it would be really fun to learn about the life cycle of a frog. Okay, so I think that's what we're gonna do today. And then I have a fun new little game that we're gonna make and share. Okay, so our new story today is titled Tadpole to Frog. So it's going to be all about the life cycle. Can you say that? Say life cycle. Awesome job. So Tadpole to Frog by Camilla de la Bédoyère. Oh, I'm gonna turn you a little bit, okay? There we go. What is a frog? A frog is an amphibian. It spends parts of its life living in water and parts of its life on land. Amphibians lay their eggs in water. They live in wet places, often near ponds or lakes. Common frogs have smooth, damp skin and golden eyes. You see that pretty frog? Some frogs live in wet rainforests. They are called tree frogs. They're called what? Tree frogs, yes. Most tree frogs are much smaller than frogs that live on the ground. This tree frog's big red eyes and orange feet scare other animals away. So look at that. Do you see its big red eyes? And look at the orange feet. That's what helps them to keep them safe because it scares the other animals away. Isn't that so cool? Yeah. The story of a frog. A young frog is called a tadpole. It looks different from a frog. Frogs begin life as an egg. They start as a what? Egg, yes. Do you see those little tiny things right there? Yes, those are the eggs. The amazing story of how they become adult frogs is called a life cycle. Everyone say that with me? Life cycle, yes. A frog goes through 3 stages. How many? 3 stages, yes. In its life cycle, the first 2 stages are spent in water. They're spent in where? Water, ooh, yes. Frog spawn. A female frog lays her eggs in spring. She always lays them in water. She lays hundreds of eggs where the water is shallow. The eggs float on the water surface. Frog eggs are soft and squishy. They stick together in a big clump called frog spawn. The frog spawn swells and floats to the surface of the water. Do you see all those eggs? Oh my goodness. And remember, they said that they're soft and squishy. Do you know something else that is soft and squishy? What else? Yeah, slime. What else? Play-Doh. Yeah, all of those things are awesome job. Inside the eggs. Once the eggs are laid, the adult frogs swim away. Inside each egg, a new tadpole is growing. The tadpole feeds on a small yolk in the egg and grows bigger. A female frog may lay hundreds of eggs at a time. Now look, they've done a close-up picture of the eggs. Those are all of the little eggs. Many eggs are eaten by fish and other pond animals, but some survive and their tadpoles keep growing. They're what? What's that word? Tadpole. Yes, that's the next stage after the egg. After a few weeks, the eggs hatch. They hatch sooner in warm weather than they do in cold weather. Tiny tadpoles. Tadpoles are tiny when they hatch, but they quickly grow. Each tadpole has a long tail which it uses to swim. It has feathery gills on either side of its head. These allow the young tadpole to breathe underwater. To begin with, tadpoles just eat small green water plants. Later, they will also eat pond animals such as water fleas. Tadpoles grow faster when they live in warm water with plenty of food. Look at that. It's getting bigger, isn't it? Yeah. The big change. Are you ready to find out what the big change is? what do you think is going to happen to the tadpole? You think it's going to turn into a frog? Let's see. When they are about 7 weeks old, tadpoles begin to change into frogs. First, they grow back legs. A few weeks later, their gills disappear. Then they swim to the surface of the water to breathe air. The tadpole's back legs grow first. You see it? Then its front legs begin to grow. Look at that. Look at their legs. As its legs grow longer, the tail grows shorter. Now, yes, the tadpole is starting to change into a frog, but do you want to know something? Mrs. DeWalt has a little secret. Did you know that there is one more step before the tadpole can become a frog? They have one more name before they grow into an adult frog. You ready to know what it is? Awesome. It is a froglet. It's a what? A froglet. Yes, say that with me. Froglet. Yes, awesome job. So basically, it's turning into the frog now, but it still has the tail. Yep, so it has its legs, it's losing its gills, but it still has that baby tail at the end still. That's why it's called a froglet. Frogs' tails begin to shrink and their front legs begin to grow. The tadpoles now look like tiny frogs, also known as the froglet. By the time it is 12 weeks old, the tiny frog is about 1 inch long. Froglets. The little frogs keep going and their tails disappear. They are now called froglets. The froglets stay in or near water. They feed on small insects, which they catch with their long, sticky tongues. Froglets can swim, crawl, hop, and climb onto the floating leaves of lilies. When they are bigger, the froglets move away from their pond. They find a safe place under plants where they hide. This froglet is hiding in a pitcher plant. You see that? Look at that frog hiding. Can you see him? Yeah. The life of a frog. Adult frogs spend most of their time on land. They hide from animals that hunt them. Frogs rest during the day. In the evening, they hunt for insects, slugs, and worms. Frogs can make huge leaps to catch food with their long tongues. Many frogs have green, gray, or brown skin. They blend in with their surroundings and are hard to see. This is called camouflage. Can you say camouflage? Camouflage. Do you know what camouflage is? Yeah, it's when an animal can hide with its surroundings. Camouflage helps a frog to hide from animals that want to eat it. Like here. You see the tree? Do you see the frog? He's hiding. Do you think an animal that is wanting to eat the frog would be able to find him very well? No, I think he would be safe, don't you? I think so too. Back to the pond. Frogs hibernate in winter. This is because there is little food to eat and the weather is cold. When animals hibernate, they fall into a deep sleep to save energy. Frogs hibernate under rocks, in burrows, or in ponds. In spring, frogs return to the pond where they were born. Soon the story of the life cycle will begin again. Male tree frogs croak loudly to call the female. Frogs are ready to mate when they are 2 to 3 years old. So look at this male tree frog. Do you see what happened when he croaked? Can you see him? Yeah, his mouth got really big, didn't it? Holy moly. And that, my friends, was the end of that story. Now, here's the cool thing about this book, okay? And we're not gonna do this one this week, but this one is kind of like a 2-for-1 book, because on this side it has tadpole to frog, and on the other side it has an egg turning into a chicken. Would you like to read that one maybe next week? Great, me too. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of tilt y'all again. There we go. Better? Awesome. So you will need for today's game, because we're gonna make our own little game, you will need a couple pieces of paper. You can do green like I am, or you can do any sort of paper, or if you don't have paper, guess what? You could do chalk outside, you can do whatever you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and use a couple of pieces of paper. I just have 2 right here. And I don't want them to be long ways, I don't want them to be vertical, I want them to be horizontal, okay? So we're gonna have them be horizontal, and all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna fold them in half. Yep, just like that. And that's all. And then I'm just gonna kind of go down the side. Yep, there you go. So now, here's where the fun part begins. I am going to use a black pen. You can also use a black marker. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use the black marker. I think it'll be easier. And we're going to start by making a letter C. A letter what? C, yes. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna make my letter C. Just like so. And you can make it as big or as little as you want. I want to make mine a little bit bigger, so I'm taking up a good chunk of space. You can also make some little ones. And I'm going to tell you in a second what these are, okay? So now that we've done that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of make an inward V, and I'll explain to you why. So it's kind of going to look like Pac-Man. If you have ever seen Pac-Man, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just like that. It also kind of looks like a fortune cookie almost. Now, these things are really, really cool, and I'm going to tell you why, okay? Because you will see frogs jumping on these in ponds sometimes, and they're really bouncy, and frogs love them. And they're called lily something. Do you know what they're called? Lily pads. Yes, they are called lily pads. And basically, frogs just jump on them to keep from having to go into the water. It's really cool. So what I'm gonna do is I have drawn my little lily pad, or my Pac-Man shape, and I'm just going to cut them out, okay? I'm not cutting out one at a time, I'm cutting them all out at the same time. And remember, you can make these as big or as little as you want. I may go back with the extra paper, and I may actually make a few little ones too. How are yours coming along? Good. Did y'all have a hard time drawing the lily pads? And if you did, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Remember, does anything need to be perfect? No. And you don't have to do this. This is just something fun that I figure we could do. And I'm going to show you what we're going to do in a second with these. All right. And you might make a little bit of a mess, but it's okay. You can clean it up after. All right. So I have 4 lily pads right here. Now, like I said, you can do this with a bunch, or you can do this with a few. It's whatever you want to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little sight word game. Can you say sight word game? Yes. Y'all know our sight words. We know what is it? He, me, all, they, all of, we know a bunch of them, don't we? Yeah, so what I figured would be fun is we're gonna make our own little froggy leap sight word game. So I'm gonna write the word all on one of them. A-L-L, all. Yes. Now let's see if you know what this word is. They, yes, awesome job. 2 more that I'm going to do for right now. Can you see that? Came, yes. And then 1 more. Are you ready? This one tricks us a lot. You, yes, Y-O-U is you. Awesome job. So, like I said, you can make some more out of your extra paper, or you can get some more paper with your parents' permission, remember. But what I would like to do is you can always take these and you can spread them out. You can spread them out on the floor. You can spread them out on a table. You can tape them down with permission again. And what you can do is you can use your little fingers and we're gonna make it into a little froggy. So what you would do, for example, is you would land on you. You have to say the sight word you. Then you would jump from you to cane, and you have to say the word. Now, the reason why I said if you don't have paper, you can do this outside is because if you have any chalk or anything to write with, you can basically write it on papers and you can do this. You can put these down on the floor and instead of just using your fingers, you can hop like an actual frog to practice your sight words, or you can do it outside with the sidewalk chalk like I was saying. Now, the cool thing about this game that I love is it helps you practice your sight words, yes, but do you think you can just practice your sight words? No, you can do this with numbers. You can do this with adding. You can do this with our letters. You would hop to one of them and you have to say what the letter is. You can do all sorts of things with this. There's no wrong way to do it. So I'm gonna let y'all play this if y'all would like, and I would love to see pictures if you have them. And I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will see y'all in our next video, okay? Bye, have a good one.